unique one that I did not expect to be on here. And, after what we saw in the Baltimore Times article earlier today, this makes it a lot more interesting. That is for sure, with just the highlights of basically things are not all wonderful in Baltimore. I'll let anyone else kind of read into what they want. This one, you're reloading because you're the Baltimore Ravens. You're reloading. Like, you don't really ever since they've come back, have they ever really blown it up? I don't really think so. Like, they've never been like a top 5 pick or anything like that I could think of.
I think you know what? Maybe early 2000s.
Kyle Buller, maybe the Kyle Buller pick.
I think the early 2000s after their Super Bowl run. But even then, you didn't really blow it up because you ended up with Ray Lewis, Terrell Suggs, Tony Siragusa.
You still have those
you had
guys.
Jamal Lewis.
Yeah, you never really. They've been the ultimate reload team because they just take the best.
Yeah, they just refill and push forward.
Just keep trugging along. They even stumbled into Lamar by trading back into the first round, and that ended up being
smart.
Most of the time, great, and has been great up until now. It sounds like, and as long as I don't know what's going on with that. How much of what was in that article is 100% fact? I don't know how much of it was leaked. I don't know the details of it, but if let's take it at face value, you definitely can't keep the same coaching staff, unfortunately, because that's run its course. Unfortunately, sometimes nothing wrong. It's just 18 years in that place. It's got to come to a head at some point. He's been there. If someone was born his first year there, they are now legally allowed to do just about anything besides drink. So I think you got to change there. Maybe you just keep it simple and you bump up Todd Monken to head coach if you do that. But at the same time, I think you need to clean a little. You need to do a little bit of cleaning house because you've had Lamar for a while. Usually a head coach and quarterback, when they win a Super Bowl together, it's within the first, I think, 5 years. I think after that, there's been 1 or 2 in the history of the game at that point. So I think Lamar might just need a change of scenery too. If what we saw in that article was true, maybe he just needs a new coach, a new offense, a new everything kind of around him as well. Especially now that he's running the ball a lot less, whether due to injuries or just due to him getting tired of getting hit. Could go either way. If he's going to run the ball less, you need someone that's going to invest in the assets a little bit differently. It's going to design the offense a little differently. Just need a little bit more top to bottom. And since I don't think you can run it back, though. That's what I think is weird, is after the season, I don't think you could truly run it back. So we're going to say reload the Baltimore special.
Yeah. Yeah. I think starting I don't know how much to buy into the coaching conversation. I do think Harbaugh has probably run his course, but I don't think it's as egregious as a lot of people think. Now, the thing I think is probably more egregious than what has been talked about is the fact there's still a corner on this roster who starts as a corner and not as a safety.
Or a linebacker.
He's a safety. He's been a safety his whole career. Yeah, move into the box or move into a safety. You are not a corner. I've never thought you were a corner since you were at Alabama. And if nobody knows what I'm talking about, it's Marlon Humphrey. He has been a great ball hawk from a center field position, but he does not play a center field position with the Ravens. They just don't do it. They literally let him try to man up on somebody, and he doesn't have that speed. He doesn't have that ability anymore. And that's fine. You get older, you get slower. These receivers are running 4.2s, 4.3s. Marlon Humphrey never ran a 4.2 or 4.3. So you got to keep that in mind when you're talking about this. He is a 6-foot monster of a man that can go and take heads. So go and let this man take heads. Don't put him in a position to be burnt time and time again. And this whole, let me bring in an old veteran corner and try to fill in the gaps, obviously it didn't work. It hasn't worked since you brought Dion in to be a safety. By the way, another corner moving to safety. So keep that in mind if you're the Ravens. I think you got to start there. I think this secondary has run its course. It needs to be fixed. Keep Kyle Hamilton. Figure out the rest. Is kind of where I'm at.
Kyle Hamilton is safety. That's a pretty nice duo too. That's a pretty nice duo.
And it's not like their corners outside of Marlon Humphrey are terrible, but you're being asked to. Right. Yeah, I'll take Wiggins as a 1 or a 2, but bring in somebody. Go get somebody. Trade in the draft this year, or you might be in the perfect spot to go get the kid out of Ohio State right now in the draft.
Just have 4 safeties.
Yeah, I don't know what you need to do correctly, but it's not a full blow it up because the Ravens will never blow it up because they have one of the smartest front offices in NFL football. What they're going to do is reload somehow, and I'm going to get irritated when the draft comes around and it's the 25th pick again, and we see the Ravens sitting there, maybe the 18th to 25th pick, And there's still a best available player who's a top 10 ranked player who just sits there. And the Ravens are like, all right, we'll take him. Turns into another great player. That's what the Ravens do. That's what they do best. That's what they're always going to do best. The first 2 rounds, they just take best available defensive player or best available fit for their team. And I say let it happen again. But yeah, I don't know if you get rid of the coaching staff just yet. I think Harbaugh is a stabling situation. I think offensively, coordinator wise, fix that. Fix your D coordinator. Let Harbaugh just keep managing the situation. But yeah, I think, I don't know. The Ravens are in a weird situation. I think it's a reload, but you got to start with that secondary. It's bad. You got to get your pass rush back. Why you traded Oa in the middle of the year, I don't understand that either. It wasn't like you were doing a whole lot. And bringing offensive linemen to help anybody.
They're in a weird spot too, because with the way they've been able to run offense with Lamar's legs, you've been able to kind of siphon money away from receiver to build the receiver room to build such a well-rounded unit. Since receiver outside of quarterback and edge is the highest paid position, so you've been able to short there a little bit to build an elite offensive lines, have Mark Andrews, have those elite defenses, Lamar in that elite backfield. With the way they're going now, if things hold, Lamar will finish this entire season without a 20-yard run. Like, just saying that out loud just feels crazy. It just feels crazy. He used to get multiple of those in a game. You get multiple in a single play. So if they're going to move a little bit away from him using those legs in the same way, which is not saying that's wrong. He's a great passer. Like, he can do it just fine. I think you just have to reallocate the resources. You might have to, maybe your offensive line's not quite as mauling and strong as it normally is. So then Mara's going to have to get the ball out quick, but he needs an X receiver to complement his Zay Flowers, I think. And Zay needs to quit fumbling the damn ball. He has more fumbles than touchdowns this year. He's outstanding, but that's one thing. That's one thing we got to work on.
Derrick Henry hasn't had a great year holding the ball either. So
there's
been a lot of problems in Baltimore. It's been
an avalanche.
But it starts with that defense not being able to stop anybody. They couldn't stop a sneeze if you tried.
Not having Matabike has really killed them because they do not get after the passer at all. And then it makes those secondary holes that much worse because I think Malachi Starks and Kyle Hamilton's a great secondary duo. Problem is, it doesn't matter when you're not getting after anybody. And then Marlon Humphrey's getting a nice pre-catch tackle 70 yards downfield somehow. But I digress. We're in the same boat with the Ravens. You always reload.
Look, if you here, offensive coordinators, here's a great tip for beating Marlon Humphrey. Double move. Fake the dig, go deep. Fake the out, go deep. You're going to leave him in the dust every single time. It could be any receiver. It might even be a tight end, and you'll still burn him. So there's your pro tip.
Well, be sure to let us know down below what you all think, which ones you'd reload, run it back, or blow it up.